1933. The original, the best, the one that started it all. The original King Kong. Yeah, I did Kong Skull Island already. And, well, I haven't done a Kong movie for a while, so let's do the original that still holds up today. That's almost 100. This one's almost 100 years old. Where's my suit? Yeah. King Kong. Yeah, I saw this as a kid. This the original and Mighty Joe Young, which I don't have, so I'll have to do that one next year in 2026 if I can get my hands on it, because these classic movies are getting harder to find on physical media. They're the blueprints of cinema, pretty much. Melissa O'Brien, yeah, he did the effects, the first effects man, in a movie, because back then there weren't a lot of special effects. The first movie with special effects, I think, was like The Lost World. Not The Lost World Jurassic Park, the black and white silent picture of The Lost World. Fay Wray, Robert Armstrong, Bruce Cabot. And King Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. He gets his own opening credit. I know the beast looked upon the face of beauty and stayed its hand from killing him. From that day it was at one dead. And this is one of the shortest versions of Kong. It's about an hour and 48 minutes. Still under 2 hours. The remakes are way longer than this. I don't know why. Because the 76 version is like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And the Peter Jackson movie's over 3 hours. I don't know why it's that long. It should have been half that time. Everybody wants to be Peter Jackson. They want to make the movies 3 hours long. This movie's so iconic, man. Two years ago, it turned 90 years old. Now this movie's 92 years old. It's one of the oldest monster movies ever exist. Theatrical agent. Fay Wray was Canadian. I didn't know that until after she passed away. But she was still one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in that time. There's Robert Armstrong. His son Todd Armstrong was an actor too. Yeah, a classic doesn't always have to be something recent. It could be something from decades ago. There's a reason this movie still gets referenced to this day. And in 2033, it'll be 100 years old. I hope I can make it to that. Yep. Also, this was made during the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. It's so iconic, man. I love this movie. I saw this movie on my birthday earlier this year. A young, pretty, blonde girl. This is why they chose Brie Larson in Kong Skull Island, because she's gorgeous. Is she Fay Wray? No. Doesn't have to be, because that's a period piece from the 70s, not the 1930s. It was a different time, guys. There is. New York to this day has a lot of danger. Traffic, violence, crime, pollutants in the air, you know? Oh, yeah, I want to hold a woman around. I know, exactly. Hmm. It makes a lot of movies more tolerable when the romance works, when it doesn't feel. Yeah, look at Titanic. Yeah, James Cameron put romance in his movie so he could make more money. Look at Titanic and the Avatar movies. Without it, it would just be people just on a ship just dying. That's it. Let's face it, it was the love story in that song that made that movie all that money. It wasn't just the effects on the boat, because I've seen James Cameron do things on a boat with the Abyss, and that did not make $1 billion or 2 billion. It was successful. It was just not as successful as Titanic, and I think it's a better movie, even though it's also too long. Robert Armstrong also is the only actor that was in King Kong and the original Mighty Joe Young. He wasn't. No other actor was in. Fay Wray was not in Mighty Joe Young. You had a a brunette as the lead. I forgot her name. Damn it. It'll come to me. Terry Moore. Yeah. And I always sympathize with the characters here, with the animal, because Kong is a giant gorilla. There she. Where's she at? Yeah, her beauty was. There she is. Yeah, Fay Wray. There was just something about her that was just screamed like she was unbelievably gorgeous, especially at that time. No cosmetics, no enhancements, just naturally beautiful. And Canadian. I didn't know that. Well, Brie Larson's part, so. Look, they show a lot of close ups of that beautiful face. And she lived a long life, too, unlike Marilyn Monroe. Mm, wow. No wonder the island people go nuts for her because she has a gorgeous face and blonde hair, and one of the most iconic screens in cinema history screens. Before Jamie Lee Curtis and all these other girls, yeah, she was the first it girl screamer in a film in a non horror movie because it's not really a horror movie. It's more like an adventure drama in a way. It's not really a horror movie. He took one look at her and was like, "Yep, that's the girl I want." That's probably gonna be my face if I see Brie Larson next year at Comic Con. I'm gonna be like, again, and I'm older than her. Mm. I miss you, Fay Ray. She died like 20 years ago. When the remake came out, she gave her blessing to the cast, to Naomi Watts, and what's his name, Adrian Brody, etc. The only one miscast in that movie was Jack Black. Why was he Denim? I don't know. Look at those big friendly eyes. This movie was so long that they had an overture music. The first 5 minutes is just background music. This is what movies had before uh, movies were 3 hours long, where they had an overture, an intermission, end music. Yeah, if you've seen Gone with the Wind, you'll know. I wonder who found Brie Larson because I'm like, she was a child actress when she started in the 2000s. She was in Hoot and Right on Track and a bunch of stuff, and then she blew up in the 2010s with 21 Jump Street, and of course Room won her an Oscar, which she richly deserves. Screw the haters that say that she can't act. I can't wait to hear her voice in Mario next year. I'm so excited for that. Among all the other things in the trailer, The fact that she's gonna be Rosalina, I'm like, oh, I'm so there. I don't care if kids look at me like, why is he licking his lips? Because look at her, guys. Yep, she's the girl. Again, different time, guys. Trust me, I would be on I would be on a boat with a woman any day, especially a woman that I'm attracted to. Treat cosplaying women like human beings, guys. Not like a prize to be won. You know. Every frame of this movie is just so iconic. It's a bit slow. That's the only thing I could say. Like with Alien, it's a slow start. It doesn't Kong doesn't get on screen until like almost 40 minutes in. But the remakes are way worse when it came to pacing because in the '76 remake it takes even longer, and then in the 2005 remake, oh my god, I thought they would never get to Kong. It takes like an hour and a half to get to Kong. There's an Asian. Again, this was a different time. This is when Asians were side characters and black people were side characters. They were not stars of their own movie like nowadays, where everything is everything is diverse and it's forced and feminized. You know what I mean? Back then, they hired people for their talent, not for their gender or identity. I'll say that. Mm, mm. Again, different time. Yeah, it is mean. It's sexist. You can't say that now. If they remake this movie again in like 20 years, they can't say, "Oh, this is no place for a woman." You can't say that now, because women belong on this earth. Trust me, they're the only things in this world that I get off on. I love looking at her. I thought the other girls that played Anne or whatever, were fine. Jessica Lange was gorgeous back in the '70s, and then you have Naomi Watts, who's the weakest, but she's still a good-looking woman. She's just not Fay Ray. And then you have Brie Larson in Kong Skull Island. I'm like, do I have to say anything, guys? You go from Naomi Watts to an Oscar winner, gorgeous actress like Brie Larson. Monkey. That's a monkey. Kong is an Kong is an ape. That monkey is very cute because Kong is an ape or a primate because he has no tail. It's another classic from the '40s. The not the Disney version. I'm saying the '46 French version. La Belle and la Bête or something like that. I don't know. Again, I don't speak French, but I can read it. I can read some of the titles in it, like Amelie and things like that. Yeah. See, I can see mainstream movies that are beloved by critics, like this movie and the original Godzilla. Good morning, sci-fi film fan. Said you're watching the original Kong. I'll take this any over the Peter Jackson version only for one major reason, and it's not the effects. It's because it's shorter. If you have to pick a Kong, pick the original because it's the shortest version, live action. Because there's an animated version that came out in the 90s that was like an hour. Because it's short. It's for kids, but this is the best version. Peter Jackson version is just too long. I'm like, oh my god, just get to the monster already. This is why Kong Skull Island, they get to his island within the first 25 minutes, not an hour, because they know people can't wait for the monster. They show Kong in the beginning, his hand falls, and then he throws a tree at the helicopters and starts attacking in about the 30-minute mark because they're bombing his island. What do you expect? Yeah, people don't like slow pacing. They want to see the effects like early. Plus, this was made practically. There was no CGI in 1933. A computer was like a foreign concept back then. Singapore. That's Asia. Skull Island. Or Skull... Well, this says Skull Mountain. Mm-hmm. Kong. Yes. No, there's a giant ape. Some people just don't like watching black and white movies, even though they're better than a lot of films that came out today. Because they don't have horrendous CGI, they don't have bad acting most of the time, and they have people that can act. Also, they're shorter. Most black and white movies are shorter than the ones from now. Because some black and white movies are very long. Like, if you've seen Seven Samurai, it's like 3 hours long. Yeah, it's long. I still haven't seen it, but there's a new year coming. I could see it in 2026. Seven Samurai and Ikaru and all these other classic Asian films that are like really, really long. You're so gorgeous. Ugh. Faye, you were one of the most beautiful women to ever live. Definitely one of the most beautiful Canadian women I've ever seen. Yeah, they used to crank a camera back then. Now AI can use a camera. Cameras are very digital now. Even in black and white, I know a woman is beautiful. No, the guy. They do, especially nowadays. You don't have to turn a camera anymore. Now you could literally turn on your phone and start filming. The effects in this movie still hold up too, because this was made over 90 years ago. So, and the fact that these were like special effects that people saw in the theater, because movies you couldn't stream movies in the 1930s. You either saw it in the theater or you had to own a print of you had to own a print of the film and see it at home. Now, you could see movies on your phone. That's crazy. How technology has gone from this to this. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Iconic, man. That's so iconic. A giant ape. If you've seen the poster, you know what Kong looks like. And back then, they didn't spoil. The trailers for movies were shown only in the theaters. You couldn't see it at home or on your phone or tablet. Like nowadays, everything gets spoiled so easily. They did an AI generated, you know, they did an AI generated Avengers Doomsday trailer. I'm like, I'll wait a year. If it's worth it, I'll see it. If it's not, I won't. Because you have Dune Part 3 next year, too. Mm-hmm. Denim. See, they get to the island around 20 minutes. Not an hour and 20 minutes. It's better to have better. Because even though this movie's slow at first, the pacing is not as bad as the remakes. Because those are just slow, and I'm like, oh my god, really, really slow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, War Drums. And Fade to Black. They made it to the island. 22 minutes in. Who directed this movie? I forgot. There's the birds. David O. Selznick. Yeah, he did a good job. Because Harryhausen didn't work on this movie. He did Mighty Joe Young like a decade later when he was young. Yep. Hold on. Yeah, they used the gas bomb later. Back then, you didn't have Google Translate, so it was hard to translate things. Look at her cute little hair. Yeah, the native people. There it is. It looks amazing. Even to this day, it looks great. There's a lot of men in this movie. That's when the word queer was used differently back then. When it meant strange, not gay. Peter Jackson's excuse for making the movie remake is that he thought long running time means that the movie would be epic. It worked in Lord of the Rings because it's a long book. But not every movie you need to do needs to be 3 hours. I mean, he produced Mortal Engine, and that's under two. That's like about 2 hours, not three. Length does not mean substance. This movie and The Wizard of Oz are under 2 hours, and they get to the point. They don't drag out the movie for over 2 hours. Sometimes they remake these movies and they make them even longer. Because look at Wicked. The first Wicked is 2 hours and 40 minutes. It did not need to be that long. It could have been an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours even. Or the new Mission Impossible. It was too long. These are the native people. Yes, they're Ooga Boogas. There it is. Yeah, holy mackerel. They didn't curse back then in the 30s. It's classic, man. No, I've never been to Africa, so this isn't really Africa. It's a fictional country with black people, with afros and everything. Yeah, my preference. Look at that girl. She's the sacrifice. Again, this would not be done today because people are so overly sensitive with race that they're like, "You're never gonna sacrifice a black woman, never." And I'm like, I know, because again, people are sensitive. That's why they didn't do it in Black Panther, because they respected the culture. They were like, no, we're gonna be very sensitive towards every kind of black person in that movie. Now you could just whip out your phone and film it. Why not? Logan Paul did that, and he's an idiot for that. He filmed in Japan, somebody dying. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. That's exploitation. Yep, he sees the camera. Someone's filming me. We're being filmed, people. Yeah, there were no subtitled movies back in 1933. Movies were mostly in English. Only the silent era there was subtitles, and then years later in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they started putting movies in subtitles like Beauty and the Beast and Seven Samurai and the original Godzilla. Wow. That's why in the remake they didn't make them black. They like painted some people, white people, in like mud or something like that. I remember the remake. And in Kong Skull Island, they were Asian. They were not black because they didn't want to offend people. You know how people like, we can't offend. Even though a person's skin color doesn't offend me, it doesn't. Watu. Costco. King Kong Lives. Yeah, it's dumb, but it's not as good as the original or the remake. But it has its moments. And I miss what's it was it John Ashton? I miss him. It's a silly movie though. That King Kong Lives. Costco. It's a it's a bulk. It's a store for buying bulky items like BJ's. Universal almost made unmade The Legend of King Kong, going to be directed by Joseph Sargent, same director of Jaws of Revenge. It's still a better movie than that because the remake from '76, I saw it. It's decent. It's just too long. I was like, 2 hours. He wants to buy a woman. Remember what time this was made, guys? 1933. Trust me, I get it. It's like it's like trading Cynthia Erivo for Ariana Grande. I get it, guys. I get it. White women are beautiful. I still prefer black women though, with hair. That's my preference because I'm not gonna date a black girl without hair. That's just not gonna happen. Because I like gotta run my fingers through something, you know. Hair. Dulo. Of course they want Anne. Look at her. She's the only woman in this movie as a main character. Even in Psycho, there's two women in that movie. This one only has one. Because Psycho was made in the 60s. That's a nice shot of the outside of the ship. 6 are their women for one blonde girl. You guessed you love her, yeah. No, I don't. Yep, there it is. A kiss 33 minutes into the movie. The Great Outdoors of Dan Aykroyd and Not Candy is a pretty good movie. Yeah, it is. I did a podcast for that. Of course, they have to steal her because Kong needs a blonde. He has a preference like me. They can't even ask her to come to the island. They just kidnap her. Oh, Harris, she's good friends with Candy. Yeah, I know. I miss him. Gotcha. Again, they would not do this today. Uncle Buck, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good joke. Yeah, if you had a digital camera, you could take a picture from a long distance or a cell phone, but they didn't exist yet. Not even when the remake came out, there were no cell phones in 1976. It wasn't until the 2005 movie that they had finally had cell phones. Me no like. Again, this is a different time, guys. Now Asians have they made uh, Zootopia 2 the highest grossing animated movie of this year so far. Well, in the U.S. because Neza 2 was like the highest grossing animated movie in the world in 2025. I wish Tim Burton he should be done he done direct Superland Lives with Nicolas Cage. Yeah, but that was canceled because again they thought after four they stole Anne. All hands on deck. Yeah, that's what Roman Reigns wears around his neck. Ridley Scott he should have directed I Am Legend with Arnold Schwarzenegger remake. Yeah, again it's too late now because both Ridley Scott and Arnold are too old. They stole her. They kidnapped her. This is an American classic, man. Of course, they're gonna bring weapons. I mean, you know, the island has a lot of dinosaurs and pterosaurs and giant animals. Poor Asian guy. Poor Anne. What does she ever do to deserve this? They wanted the girl and they grabbed her. Of course, don't do that today, guys. You'll get arrested. There's the doors. The doors are opening. Little did they know that Kong is just gonna lose his mind when he sees her. He's like, yeah, he has very expressive eyes. The doors are opening. It's like Jurassic Park that they have the gates. Except that we have to wait a lot longer to see the monsters, to see the creatures. Because you only see what the raptor does in the beginning and you have to wait a while. And that movie's way longer than this movie. This is when we finally see Kong front and center. I hope when Kaylin Deaver sees Kong and Godzilla that she does something about it. Doesn't just stand and stare. And she's a brunette, not a blonde. This music is grandiose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were no subtitles back then, so gong. You have to hit the gong for Kong to show up. See, you hear Kong, man. He's finally in the movie. About halfway through it, but again, it's still a shorter wait than the remake. In the remake, you have to wait. There he is. Stop motion Kong. Yes, sir. That's so classic, man. 42 minutes into the movie. That's right. Those were monumental effects back in 1933. So close up Kong's face. He looks cute. He's like a giant animatronic. If you haven't seen this movie, what are you waiting for? Always see the original because you're going to get something out of it. I wasn't scared of Kong when I was a kid. It's like a girl. See, look at his eyes. He likes her blonde hair. He lets her loose. He doesn't eat her. This frame is just so iconic. Yep, he grabs her in her hand. Look, she's a little doll. The roar is the same as Mighty Joe Young because it's a giant gorilla. I thought Mighty Joe Young was Kong. No, he's a lot friendlier. He only attacks when he's provoked. With like and again I get it. But Kong, no, he's vicious from the beginning. Yeah, because it's his island. Like so good, man. And talk about a movie that has held up. That's become one of the most essential films of all time. Before movies went to color, like Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind, this was in black and white. We wouldn't see Kong in color officially until King Kong versus Godzilla. And that one didn't look so great compared to this one. Because this is a classic, man. Hmm. That one's a cult classic, but it's laughable. It's way more laughable than this movie. The gas bombs, yeah. Because if you don't count the overture, Kong shows up about 42 minutes into the movie. That will be a long wait for some people. But it's such an iconic entrance, man. Get those white people. Oh, man. It's 10:37, so this movie will be over around like 11 o'clock, 11-ish. I put it early because it's long, but not too long. Oh, I'm not doing the remake. If Josh does the remake, I would say do it in two parts or do it all in one go, but take a break, because 3 hours is a lot. It's I would rather do the extended cut of Blade because Blade Trinity because that's way shorter than the King Kong remake. It's not 3 hours. That's his footprint. Yeah, close. They're looking for Anne. There's a Stegosaurus. Looks great. You didn't have to shoot it. You could have like left it alone. Poor animal. I don't harm animals. There he is. He didn't do anything. That poor Stegosaurus is just minding his own business. And then people. Poor Stegosaurus. I feel bad for the animals. I always root for them because they came on his island to film a movie, and I'm like, yeah, and then you harm their animals. You don't do that. In Kong Skull Island, they blew up the island and a bunch of deer running, and Kong is not going to take that line down. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for throwing a tree. That Stegosaurus didn't do anything to you guys. It's like the Stegosaurus in Lost World, where you're touching their baby, and of course they're going to get upset. They're territorial. And Spielberg definitely saw this movie because he put the Stegosauruses in Lost World. They have the same entrance from the. You didn't need to do that. That wasn't necessary. Poor Stegosaurus. Wasn't bothering anybody. We know, but you didn't have to kill it. You could have stunned it. You didn't have to kill him. I value all life, no matter what kind of animal it is, except for roaches. That poor dinosaur. Now the T Rex, I don't feel bad for it because it's trying to eat Anne, but the Stegosaurus wasn't harming anybody. I don't like when animal cruelty in movies. It upsets me because I have a dog at home, so I take care of her very well. I wouldn't want anybody to harm her. These sets are amazing, by the way. The swamp area and the jungle and everything is still looks iconic to this day. There's a plesiosaur in there. These effects still look amazing. They made you wait for the effects, and now you get them. And the fact that they made this in the 30s is unbelievable, man. Yeah, there's movies that came out this year that look way worse. Yep, it knocks them off. Gotcha. Yep, it killed a couple of the men. It's a good effect. They keep it in the shadows. Oh no, that's not. It's not a plesiosaur. It's a brontosaurus. I was wrong, because there was a plesiosaur in the, later in the film, I think, and there's a pterodactyl or pteranodon, and then there's a the T Rex later. I was wrong. I thought it was a plesiosaur. I was thinking of like uh something else. Never say that this movie is dated. It's not. The effects are not. Look at that. It's got big loops. But a brontosaurus is an herbivore. They don't eat people. Yeah, we got them. Again, they don't eat people because they're not meat eaters. Like the Brachiosaurus in the original Jurassic Park, it's a leaf eater. It's not. It doesn't eat people. There's Kong. Puts on the tree. Yep, Kong is ready to fight. Yep, bang your chest hard. No. By the time this happened in the Peter Jackson movie, it was like an hour and a half into the movie. I'm like, yeah, faster. Yep, these guys die. A lot of them die. They suffer a horrible death. They fall to their death instantly. Again, he doesn't want you on his island. I get it. It's like I don't want strangers in my house. That guy's dead. Yep, he fell with the whole trunk. You are dead, yeah. So basically, Kong's an anti hero because he does kill. Again, they're on his island. What do you expect? You think somebody wants you on their property, like trespassing? No, they'll get violent if necessary. He's trying to get Jack. I'm gonna get you. My giant hand. I'm gonna get you. Yeah, stabbed him. Poor Kong. Hey, this is a little lizard creature. That was easy. There's the T-Rex. 57 minutes into the movie. With his little hands. Oh, I gotta go help. Yep. I'm coming. It's on like Donkey Kong. And this work took a lot of time. All these effects. Now you could do this with a computer and it's not the same. You can't beat practical effects, man. They always rule. Especially back then. Yeah, punch that T-Rex. I do like the CG in the remake, but I still prefer the original. So iconic, man. And if you haven't seen this movie, you better. It's one of the most recommended monster movies of all time, guys. For a reason. I did the original Godzilla, and I'm doing the original Kong. I can't believe they did this back then. This is a spectacle and a half, man. So iconic. Yeah, get him. The T Rex can't grab you because it has little hands. Well, wow, what a slam. And it's only one T Rex, not three, like in the remake. Whee! She's trapped. So good, man. I don't know if they have this movie in 4K, but it looks amazing on the TV that I used it on. That's right, Punch 'em Kong. This is a foreshadowing to the fight with Godzilla in 1962. He's biting. Well, no, they don't have ears. I guess the side of his eyebrow. Yep, he breaks his jaw, man. Finish him. It's like Kong. And there was some blood in this movie, even in the 30s. That was rare to see back then. Common now because every show now has a ton of gore. Yep, he broke his jaw in half. Awesome, yeah. Yep, he broke his jaw with his bare hands. Yep, bang your chest, Kong. You've earned it. Look at that face. Yeah, there's no juggling in this, and there's no ice skating in this version either. Yep, gotta take my girl away. That's why nowadays you don't have excuses. Not everything needs to be CGI, guys. It doesn't, because you could do things practically because it looks great. It looks a lot better than some of these digital effects. I'll take 10 King Kongs and the original Godzilla over Avatar any day because that's just all CG. It doesn't look real. It looks like I said, a 4K TV demo reel or video game on the PS5. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look real to me. It just looks, oh, that's digital. None of it looks real. And it gets old real quick. Like seeing 3 hours of all this CG, it just gets really numbing. I like to see real people, if you ask me. Minecraft had a lot of CG, but it also had real actors in it. That's something Avatar will never have. All its digital effects and everything, and it always wins an Oscar for that, even though I think I've seen better effects. CG looks good when it's either not noticeable or when it looks, you know, impressive. Like it doesn't, it doesn't look fake. You know, you saw the little dinosaur. The birds are eating the dinosaur's gore coming out of its mouth. Yeah, we're an hour and 3 minutes in, so we're more than half of the movie's done. But once they get Kong to New York City, all hell breaks loose. I know. That's why they still make movies with him because he's so iconic. Now he has a robot arm. In the last movie, his arm froze, so you have to get this mechanical arm, a power glove, if you will. Because basically the humans are the villains in this movie, not Anne and Jack. I'm saying like Denham, because he steals Kong away from his island, and then tries to exhibit him and make money off of him. That's pretty much a villain's role. I know Robert Armstrong's heart was in the right place, but still, you don't steal someone else's culture away from them. Kong lives in a cave. And spends most of the movie screaming. She doesn't have a lot of dialogue. There's another creature, a snake. A snake! Actually, no, it's not a snake. It has legs, so I think that's the plesiosaur. Yeah, I was wrong again. I haven't seen this movie in a while. It's got legs, so it's a plesiosaur. It looks like a snake, though. Because it has a tail and it has little flippers. This is a plesiosaur. You have the skull crawlers in Kong Skull Island. That was different. There were those giant lizards with the skull heads and the tongues. I miss movies like this. And that was the thing about 2025. There was no Kong or Godzilla movie this year. That's right, Plesiosaur. Take that. Yeah, he turned that thing into a he broke that thing. Now the pterodactyl shows up. It's 11 o'clock already. Yeah, the movie's almost over. At least it's not too long. So, because the remake is too long, like both remakes. See, Kong has no tail. Kong finally got a quiet moment. He's mostly been fighting other monsters. Yep, he's ripping her clothes off. Again, different time, guys. Different time. She's wearing layers. Mm. Yep, he's peeling her off like a grape. That's why they say apes are a lot like human beings because they have hands. Look at those legs. Brie Larson type legs. Mm. I wouldn't do this to a girl at Comic Con. Hold her against her will? No. I don't do that. I ask before I touch her hair or take a selfie. He's smelling her. Yeah, he's gonna hear that. He heard that. Kong does have ears. He heard that noise. He's like, why do everybody wants to bother me? There's a pterodactyl. I also don't like the downbeat ending in any of them, in the original or the remakes, because I don't think Kong should have died. He should have just went back to his island. That's why I like the Mighty Joe Young. They don't kill him off in either version. Yeah, take this. I got you, Petrie. That was quick. Come on, girl. We need you. He's looking for his girl, yeah? Where is she? See, he sees the rope. Kong's not stupid, guys. He's not stupid. Apes are very smart animals. Whether it be a gorilla or an orangutan or, what is it? What else is an ape? Not a bonobos. I think those are monkeys. Or a chimpanzee. Yeah, they're not stupid. They're very, very intelligent animals. You ever seen Planet of the Apes? Yeah. They're not stupid. She's all wet. This happened to Brie Larson too in Kong Skull Island. Kong is not happy that you took her away from him. Hello, John Avenger. Nice commentary on the original Kong. Yeah, this movie's a classic. It is Electric Dino because it's held up to test it's a time, and it's so iconic, and it pretty much spawned Godzilla and Gamera and all that. They would not exist without King Kong. So I grab your woman. Yeah, it's funny because Jack is the name of the guy in Titanic, the '97 movie, which is a remake, by the way, because the original Titanic was a black and white film. You should have left him here. You didn't need to capture him. Estrogen. You're wrong. Yeah, hell yeah. So they don't make movies like this anymore. I do like the new Kong, that he's a giant CG ape, but the original is just so iconic for a reason. And also, more of these movies are about Kong than about Godzilla, because Kong Skull Island and even Godzilla versus Kong and the New Empire last year is more about Kong than Godzilla, which is fine for this iteration, but I still want Godzilla to get more screen time. He is the bigger moneymaker. I mean, Godzilla's had over 30 films. Kong's only had like maybe 10, if you count the animated ones. Because he's had this, Son of Kong, which is his son. You have the remake from '76, the 2005 remake, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla vs. Kong, King Kong vs. Godzilla, King Kong Escapes, King Kong Lives, and The New Empire. That's about 10 films. And the animated one, which is 11. That's way less than 30 something like Godzilla. Kong's like, give me what I want. That's so iconic, man. The natives are like, I'm out of here. Yep. Bang your chest, Kong. Some of the natives died too, yeah. Some of them. No, not the baby. That was close. Kong was not going to kill a baby. That would have taken me out of the movie. Because he's not. While he does kill, it's always people that are in his way. Yeah? Eat my cherry. Yeah, it just kills people. Again, in self defense. Yep, it got you. I ate you. So iconic, man. Again, he's killing in self defense. That's why he killed the dinosaurs. The dinosaur designs in the 33 film, especially the meat eater. The meat eater was a beast. Yeah, the T Rex. There's only one T Rex here. Because back then they couldn't afford, like, the fact that these creatures get such limited screen time is the test of how long it took to make these effects. Yep, he steps on his head. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see this for Black History Month because yeah, it's not a movie for it's not appropriate for that because a lot of the islanders die. That poor man. Kong's on a rampage, man. Poor Kong. You feel bad for Kong because he's only on this rampage because you took away his girl, and then you take him out of his island. It's tragic, yeah. Poor Kong. 2000 are better than the animated atrocity, the Mighty John. Yeah, that's for kids, and it's just loud and weird. That poor animal. You should have gotten him. You should have left him home. They did in the theater. Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. I know, but again, this is why he kills half of the people in New York because you took him out of his home. If someone took me out of my home, I would be rampaging too. Giant monster. And this is at a time when people will pay for anything because the depression made people really, really sad. 20 bucks in 1933. You know how much that is now? Like probably $2,000 or 22. Yeah. Think of a Hamilton ticket. That's how much it costs. And 20 bucks in 1933 was a lot of money. Yes, guys, because a quarter would get you groceries for a week in 1933. Now it takes like $250 unless you have Instacart. Boy, things have changed, haven't they? Yeah, because movie theaters were cheaper in 1933. A theater ticket was like 10 cents or 20 cents. $20 was a lot back then. That's exactly what happened with the Brontosaurus from the Lost World, the original, yeah. But that was a different movie. That was a silent picture. I'll eventually do that, but not till 2026 because I'm gonna do some silent pictures since there's no dialogue. That means there's no accents. Yes, because yeah, she's so beautiful. She had to take a shower because she was. That's a lot of money back then. $10,000 adjusted for inflation now would be like 100,000 now. Poor Kong, used for exploitation. Hmm. At least Robert Armstrong is not the villain in Mighty Joe Young. He's not the villain because with Joe he doesn't get him killed. He saves him from and brings him back to his home. Unlike here, poor Kong. He didn't want to be here. He wanted to be in his home, climbing a tree. The acting is fantastic from all the actors, especially Fay Ray because she has to do a lot of screaming. It probably was draining. There was a King Kong Broadway show. I just never saw it. It was very expensive because the prop for Kong was so pricey. The Eighth Wonder of the There he is, tied up, close up. And they made rip-offs of Kong after the remake after the King Kong versus Godzilla came out because he had Konga, which is one of them, and Big Ape, and he had Ape and a bunch of others in the 70s. I remember watching the movie Mighty Joe Young back in the on Disney Plus. Oh, the remake, yeah, because they don't have the original on there. It was inspired by King Kong, yeah, it was, but they don't kill Joe because that would have been depressing. Kong does not take selfies. He doesn't. Those flashes bother him. I know. I don't like flashes myself. That's why usually when I take a selfie, I shut the flash off usually because I hate flashes. They blind me. That flashing, yeah, it bothers him. I get it, Kong. And he breaks them. Kong doesn't want that. Kong is not happy. Yep, now panic. Yep, gotta get her out of these restraints. That's right, Kong. These people are over exaggerating. Can you imagine if this happened in Madison Square Garden or the Barclay Center in New York City? I miss having the dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures in the Kong media. Yeah. Well, there were dinosaurs in Kong Skull Island, I guess, yeah. But it's just, Godzilla's kind of a dinosaur, so they didn't have to, they don't want to do too much. There was a dinosaur in the New Empire, the one that was breathing ice. Yeah, that was a dinosaur. Yep, he's climbing the building. That's right, climb, Kong, climb. That's not the Empire State Building. That's not the end of the film. That's not her. Hey, you're a brunette. I want a blonde. That poor woman. She didn't do anything to him. All she did was sleep, and then she got killed. Again, Kong has a preference. Yep. So iconic. I'm gonna grab her. But in Kong Skull Island, he doesn't. He saves Brie Larson's life. He doesn't like put her on a building or something. He saves her from drowning. So at least Kong is more noble in the new versions. But if you get on his island, he will be pissed off and kill you because he doesn't want you in his territory. I get it. They used to give this movie a lot on TV. It's the hair. He's attracted to her hair. It's like Elsa's hair. She's a blonde. The poor train, yeah. Godzilla also destroys a train. No, he gets a train, yeah. That poor train, man. That train didn't stand a chance. People that take the bus are the lucky ones. Because Kong doesn't kill people on a bus. The poor conductor and all those people, man. Again, this wouldn't have happened if they didn't take Kong out of his home and left him on the island. And Denham didn't take him away from everything that he loved. I went on the King Kong ride when I was a kid. It was a very long line. Oh my god, it was longer than the movie. I waited on line for like almost 2 hours when I first went on the King Kong ride in 1992. I was 7, and I was like, the ride blew my mind. You had Kong right in front of you, and it was pretty scary for the time. But man, the line is so long. I'm glad they have a fast pass now in Universal, because if not, it would take you like an hour to get on a ride. Six Flags, Universal, and Disney have a fast pass, so you never have to wait on the line for 3 hours. Hell no. Yep, there it is. The building that's still around today, because in the remake he goes to the World Trade Center, which I'm not going to show because I don't want to upset anybody. If I do the remake, I have to do it next year, because yeah, they kill him in the daytime, just like in the remake. Well, the second remake, not the first one. In the '76 one, it's at night, and he's on the World Trade Center. That didn't exist in the '30s. They didn't build it until the '70s. It's so iconic, man. Him climbing one of the tallest buildings in New York at that time. Now it's the Freedom Tower in Manhattan, which I've seen. I've taken pictures of it and stand in front of it. I was like, wow, this was made after 9/11. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I got to see it. I'm not glad that what happened. I'm saying, that the Freedom Tower is still standing. No one could tear her down. Nobody. No man or beast. These are biplanes, like the one in that stupid Mission Impossible movie where it took until the end of the movie to get to it, and that was more laughable than this. This is a classic that is withstood the test of time. Final Reckoning, nobody will remember it next year. I know I won't. And it was boring. This movie's not boring. See, it's daytime. He's no match for them because, unlike Godzilla, conventional weapons can kill Kong because he's an ape. He doesn't have like an indestructible body like Godzilla. That's why bullets don't work on Godzilla. So yeah, it's basically an hour and 40 minutes, but without the overture, yeah, and without the end credits, which is very short. Excuse me. Kong didn't do anything on his island. He was just chilling there, and then he had to kill all those creatures because they're in his way. Because these are planes with propellers in the front, not an airliner like like Delta or something like that. These are like warplanes. Godzilla, he eats these things for breakfast because he could use his atomic breath and blow them out of the sky. But Kong doesn't have that power. I could take this off. It's getting hot. The movie's almost over, so. I'm glad I lived to see this movie. I got to see this in the theater probably next year, but not at the Film Forum matinee because it's just it's too painful. It's early in the morning and that theater's so far away. I love the theater, but it's so far away. I got to see The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms there. That was awesome because that's also a classic like this, and it's a lot shorter. Because Ray Harryhausen did that one. Willis O'Brien was dead by the time that movie came out, but his legacy will live on through this and every other movie he did the effects for. Poor Kong. He never stood a chance. You can't be better than a classic, guys. I've said that. The original Kong, E.T., Star Wars, the original Superman. There's a reason they're called classics. Classics can't be touched by anybody. You can't ruin them because they're going to live forever. Yeah, you heard me. Classics are going to live forever, no matter how many times you remake it. Just remember that, Kathleen Kennedy. You can never remake a classic and do it well. Poor Kong. He says his goodbyes. He didn't even get to eat a banana on screen. You feel sorry for him. You do. Rest in peace, Kong. Again, he's not the villain of the movie. Denham was, because he's the reason that he got there, and they killed him for nothing. They could have captured him or take him back to his island. That would have been nice. At least Mighty Joe Young doesn't have that downbeat ending. This is more Titanic than the ending than poor Kong. If they just left him alone, this wouldn't have happened. These people would have died, and you should have been arrested for kidnapping an animal. And I don't hate Robert Armstrong, just his character is despicable because of what he did. Even Gru didn't get people killed. No. No. It wasn't the airplanes. It was Beauty killed the Beast. So iconic. I love that line so much. But see this movie. The downbeat ending is going to take some people out of it. I get it. And that was King Kong, man. One of the best monster movies of all time. I still prefer the original Godzilla. Because, Godzilla's more iconic to me. But see this movie if you've never seen it. See, the end credits are less than 20 seconds. They don't even show the names of the actors at the end. They just show... they do show it, actually. But it's very short. It's like The Wizard of Oz. But, yeah, again, this movie's a classic. I love this movie so much. I watch it at least once a year because it's just so memorable and just, one of the best movies of all time. But thanks for watching, guys. Acknowledge me. Tomorrow I'll be doing a Steven Seagal movie. A lesser movie, but still enjoyable. And it's not 2 hours. So thanks for watching, guys. Later.